Hi, this is Jennifer Bearden, and I am here to teach you about euthanasia from the Catholic Ethics book, pages 238 to 244. And just to start off, many people think that euthanasia and physician-assisted suicide is the same thing, but it is actually not. The word euthanasia means good death, and euthanasia can either be done by commission, when people have full knowledge of what they're doing, and actually do the killing through drugs or something like that, and or it can be done by omission, which means that you take yourself off of something that's helping to keep you alive. Physician-assisted suicide is quite different from euthanasia. It's when a doctor actually helps put you to death by prescribing you drugs, or some doctors, such as Dr. Jack Kevorkian. He used to hook his patients up to machines and let them press the button themselves in order to kill themselves. Either way, the church sees them as morally wrong, but some people have arguments for euthanasia and physician-assisted suicide, and the first argument is the anatomy argument, and this is that through reason, humans have the ability to make decisions for themselves, and that it's their body and their choice to die or not. Number two is the rights argument, which is kind of similar, and it's that they have the right to determine when they want to die and on their own terms. Number three is human dignity, and this is common because a lot of times during the last few weeks of living, people feel like they don't have any dignity anymore and they can't even communicate or function properly. Number four is dependency and burden. A lot of people who are very sick feel like they are dependent on other people to keep them living, and they're a burden to friends and family. Number five is mercy. It's that the patient feels like they're bringing pain to them or even to their family through their suffering. Six is quality of life, and people think that they should have the right to determine when their life is no longer worth living or not. Number six is resources. The equipment used to proceed with euthanasia and physician-assisted suicide procedures include very expensive resources, so people feel if they're not using them, then it's wasting resources that could help them, I guess. Most people who follow through with these procedures are not even going through with them because of the physical pain. They're going through them because of mental issues instead. There was a test done, and 75% of people who were considering getting these procedures done were mentally ill, so they were depressed or they had anxiety or something, and after they got help, they no longer wanted to go through with them. While euthanasia, direct euthanasia, is not legal in the United States, physician-assisted suicide is legal in Oregon and Washington. Some favors against the processes include, number one, the gift of God, that life is a gift from God and that people shouldn't waste it or put their own self to death. Two is the taking of life, so you should not kill. It goes against the fifth commandment. Number three is a lack of hope in God. People feel like they're worthless or they're not valuable anymore, and people don't realize that sometimes suffering can be a good thing, such as Martin Luther King suffered himself and others suffered for the cause, but through that, good things came from it, and suffering actually ended through their suffering. Number four is dignity, and euthanasia and physician-assisted suicide violates this human dignity. Another one is the misuse of freedom. So we are free to make our own decisions, but by putting ourselves or helping someone else put themselves to death is misusing our ability to make our own decisions. Also, it is a slippery slope, which means that through this, it leads to other issues about suicide and other things that, could be a guiding way to other acceptance of putting someone to death or taking your own life. Another one is the patient and professional relationship, which means if you go to a physician who helps put people to death, you might not necessarily trust them or feel like they have the best interest for you. Overall, the Catholic Church does not support euthanasia. They call it morally unacceptable. It causes death and suffering, and it's not the same as putting an animal to sleep because it's true none of us want to suffer, but taking our own life is not a way to escape problems, and it's not a moral way to end a life in the eyes of the Catholic Church. God is the only one who could end that. And it's kind of a misguided form of compassion, as the book says, and it is not a solution to suffering, and it is a misguided medical condition that is usually treatable through therapy. And overall, that is the information on euthanasia and physician-assisted suicide and the Catholic Church's opinion on it, found in this book. Thank you.